We learned a few concepts like noun, pronoun, subject, predicate, object, and a few other concepts in the previous video of the Language Fundamentals series. Today we are going to learn a very important concept and a necessary concept to learn the language very well, that is the verb. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel English Matters with Sunil, and also welcome to Language Fundamentals series video number 3. Today we are going to learn the very essential concept in English language, that is the verb. We are going to learn what a verb is and how is it going to help us in the language and the uses of the word verb in this video. First of all, what is a verb? Verb is very simple to understand. It is nothing but the actions we perform. Can we consider any kind of action which we perform as a verb, or any restrictions in this? The answer is yes and no. Yes for using any kind of action and no for the restrictions. Here there are no restrictions. Anything you do is definitely a verb. For example, write, go. Not only these kind of words are verbs, but right now what am I doing? Yes, I'm talking to you guys. The word talk is a verb. And what are you doing? You are listening to me. So the word listening is also a verb. I am moving my hands. These are called the gestures. So this is also a verb, move. And any kind of action which we perform with no restrictions is a verb. There are a few words in English where we use the same word in two different ways, like a noun and also a verb. Then how do we differentiate what is a noun and what is a verb when the word is same? For that, we have a solution here. That is the forms of the verb. If we learn the forms of the verb, this is going to help us in a very good way to differentiate what a verb is and what a noun is. Now let's see how many forms of verb we have in English. In English, we have 4 forms. In English, we have 4 forms of verb. What are they? It's very simple to remember. They are V1, V2, V3, and V4. So these are the 4 forms of the verb we have. There are some technical terminologies for these 4 forms, but that is not necessary for us. If it is necessary, I will tell you guys what they are. For now, remember there are 4 forms of the verb and they are V1, V2, V3 and V4. Now, let's see a few examples here to see the 4 different forms of the verb. The first word here is go. When you take the verb go, the 4 forms of the verb go are V1, which is the present form of the verb, it is go, and V2, which is a past form of the verb go, which is went. Past form of the verb is usually used to talk about any past actions which are already done. Now it is V3. V3 form of the verb go is gone, and V4 is quite simple to understand and to remember. Remember this, that V1, when we add ing to V1, that is nothing but V4. Here we can see V1 plus ing, that is ing, the 3 letters. Together, it becomes V4, which is going. I guess it is clear for you. V4 is nothing but V1 plus ing, that is V4. Clear? You might have a question now, when to use these V1, V2, V3 and V4. Don't worry about that at all. In the future videos, I am going to tell you when to use V1, V2, V3 and also V4. Some people also consider there are 5 forms of the verb like V1, V2, V3, V4 and V5. So what is that V5? We will learn that in some time. Now let's see another word. It is play. When you take the verb play, V1 is always the very plain and base form of the verb. So these are very plain, like the word play. If you take the word play, what is V2 for that? V2 is played. What is V3 for the word play? That is also played. So here V2 and V3 are one and the same with no change. V4, as I told you already, V1 plus ing is nothing but V4. So V4 here is playing, playing. Let's see another example here. That is sing. When you take this verb sing, it is V1. V2 for sing is sang. V3 for the verb sing is sung. And V4 is V1 plus ing, that is sing plus ing, singing. Let's go with another final example here in this video, that is create. When you take the word create as V1, V2 for that is created, V3 is created again, and V4 is create plus ing, creating. As I told you before, now we are going to see what that V5 is. Some people consider there are 5 forms of the verb, like V1, V2, V3, V4, and V5. V5, what people consider is nothing but when you add S or ES to V1 is V5. For example, the word go. If you add ES to it, it becomes goes, and people consider goes as V5. But we don't have to do that. Don't confuse yourselves. We can have go or goes in V1 itself. You can put a slash after the word go and use goes by adding ES to it. This is nothing but the V5, where to get rid of the confusion, we have added V5 to V1, and that is considered right everywhere. I hope we got the clarity on what a verb is and the different forms of the verb. Now let me tell you this point. As mentioned before, now to differentiate a noun and a verb, we have to go with the forms. And let's take an example now to see where a word acts as both noun and as a verb as well. The example here is water. When you take this word water, it acts as both noun and a verb. Let's go with 2 different examples, where the first example talks about the word water as a noun, and the second sentence, the word water acts as a verb. The first sentence here is, I want to have some water. I want to have some water. Here, the word water is used as an object, so it is a noun. Now, let's go with the second example. That is, I water the plants in the garden. I water the plants in the garden. The word water here is taken as an action, like I pour some water to the plants in the garden, or I give some water to the plants in the garden. So here, it is considered as an action. Now, how do we differentiate the word water as a noun and a verb? If you take the example 1, if you can replace the word water with V2 or V3 of this word, then it is considered as a verb, or else it is a noun. Let's take this example. I want to have some water. Instead of water, I use the past form of water, which is watered. I want to have some watered. Does that sound right to you? That doesn't sound right at all. In that case, that is not a verb, it is a noun. Now, the second example. I water the plants in the garden. Here, I change the word water to watered. I watered the plants in the garden. I watered the plants in the garden. This definitely sounds right. So, the word water here is used as a verb. This is how we differentiate. If there is any scope for us to change the word V1 to V2 or V3, then it is a verb, or else it's a noun. I hope this is clear for you all. Now, let's go ahead and have a look at the different types of the verb. As we learned what a verb is and the different forms of the verb, now there are quite a few verb types. But we are not going to learn all the types of the verb except for 2. They are the regular verb and the irregular verb. So the 2 different types of verbs we are going to learn are these 2. And how do we differentiate these 2 and what are they? These both help us in various ways in framing the proper structure in the language. If we take the examples what we practiced before, like the word go. What are the four forms of the word go? Go, went, gone, and going. The next word, play. What are the four forms of the word play? Play, played, played, and playing. If V2 and V3 are the same and also end with the letters ed, then that verb is considered as the regular verb. Here you can see that V2 and V3 end with ed. So that's why the verb play is a regular verb. Whereas the verb go, went, gone, going. V2 and V3 are totally different, and not only that, they are not ending with ed. So it is considered as the irregular verb. When we take the verbs sing and create, sing, V2 and V3 are different, like sang and sung. So it is an irregular verb, whereas the word create, V2 and V3 are same here. So it is a regular verb. Here is a list of a few verbs. I want you all to write all the four forms of these verbs and also mention which one is regular verb and which one is irregular verb in the comment section below. I'll tell you what is right. If you have any questions here, comment below. And if you like the video, don't forget to like, share with all your family and friends, and also subscribe to my channel. To watch the same content in Telugu and to follow me on Instagram, go to the links given below in the description box. That's all for today, and we'll catch you in the next video. Until then, keep practicing. Take care. Bye-bye.